Well, I guess if you want some history of the ambulance, it was first started in 1967. The community felt there was a need for such a service. Before that, they used the undertaker's hearse for transporting patients to the hospital. And there was a group of volunteers that got together and started the peri-emergency ambulance. We stored the first ambulance was up on Lake Street in Eaton Watson's garage in the back until we were able to acquire this building. And I came on about, probably late 70s, early 80s. I was an EMT, and at that point in time we had 2 to 3 people on every shift, and you had a shift. Your day of the week, my day of the week was Thursdays from 6 o'clock Thursday night to 6 o'clock Friday morning. And you took your shift. If you couldn't fill it, then you tried to get somebody else or you swapped with them. And everything went along real well. And then as it got in, I don't remember, I stayed in until about 1983, and I became the fire chief, and it just was too much to do everything, so I kind of gave it up there. And then at some point in time, I don't remember exactly when, it was just the lack of volunteers that they decided to go to as a paid ambulance, and that's when they started. And do you remember, Heather, right off the hand, can you tell me when that was?
What's that?
When they started as a paid ambulance?
I believe it was 1992.
Yeah. So they were along pretty well. And then it seemed to be about 4 or 5 years ago they were kind of financially struggling, and they came to the town. The town and the village contributed a little bit every year to the ambulance. And they came to the town and the village and said, we need some financial help. So we said we could help them, and the town said, why don't we do it? Because if we have to get tax money, we're taxing everybody. With the village, they could only tax village people. So we started to help them out a little bit, and we found out there were some things going on, and we didn't like what was happening, and so we had to take it away from them. Basically, we came up with established an advisory board. They hadn't had an advisory board, so we established that, the town did, and we started putting in the financials and some things that weren't being paid, and we had to end up shutting down. That was like May or June of 2018, and then we had to go ahead and we had to get a certificate of need for the town. You have to have a CON in order to operate an ambulance. And right now, if you went out to get one, it's $10,000. We were able to get ours, the one from Perry Emergency Ambulance, transferred to the town of Perry Ambulance for a lot less than that. A little work by some of us, and so that's where we started in 2018. We took the ambulances. The ambulances needed some work, so we ended up buying the first ambulance, with PA-12. That came from Kylerville. They were now the ambulance business, so we purchased that to upgrade one ambulance, and then it was April of 21 that we bought this new transit van. So, we've been trying to, we do have to subsidize the ambulance with tax dollars. There's just no way. We'd have to have 3 or 4 calls a day and get paid for all of them in order to make this thing be profitable. And as it works, we don't always get paid all the time. We have quite a lot of money. We use a firm called Professional Ambulance Building out of Williamsville, and they send us a report every week. We're always $100,000 on the books that are uncollected yet. So we're doing the best we can to keep it going. It's a needed service, and we feel that we have to support it to keep it going. We're running consistently 800 calls a year, somewhere in that vicinity, and in the recent years we've been taking calls in other towns around us because of the lack of volunteers getting out. So, but in order to take it, we don't want to take on too much, because sometimes our ambulance is out doing a call someplace else, and we have a call here in Perry. So we do have some extra people that come on, and we'll take on the extra calls. But we have to keep track of all that, so we don't. As long as the people of Perry are supporting this, we have to service them first.
All right. So my name's Kevin Highland. I'm an advanced EMT with Town of Perry Ambulance, and we just became advanced with the county here in Wyoming County back in April. Heather Hagan and I both finished our class, took the state exam to provide an additional service to the county going forward. So we assist Medicating, who is the paramedics within the county. And so our job basically in the county is to save lives and to help people, and that's what we strive to do the most, is to really take care of people. And that's why we're in this business. And so we decided that with the need for additional advanced life support here in the county of Wyoming, we went ahead and took the class, and so we've got some advanced skills that we can do. And I'll show you a couple little things that we're able to do besides basic life support. So in our ambulance, we have everything we need, from some basic stuff, which is cold packs, and we've got some ACE bandages all the way down to we can wash wounds if we need to. We have different things for breathing if we have any additional. So we have our BLS bag here that allows us to give people oxygen. We can take vitals with blood pressure cuffs. We can take blood sugars. And one of the things is ALS now that we couldn't do before is we can now treat people with hypoglycemia, so that's low blood sugars. So anybody with low blood sugar, we can now give them medications that can help bring that up a little bit quicker, so that they're not in a dire strait. So the other things that we can do is we try and help people that are in cardiac arrest. That's where their heart stops. So both of our ambulances have an AED that we use, and we keep up to date at all times. Make sure that it's ready to go with pads and everything we need here in the ambulance. So we're always prepared in case someone goes into cardiac arrest. But now the nice thing is until paramedics get on scene, we can also put in IVs, which we have a full case for. We can put IVs in people, so we can give them fluids, we can give them medication, things like that. But we can also intubate, so we can put tubes in people that we can provide oxygen to people in the event that they stop breathing or if they're in cardiac arrest. So those are just a few of the items that we do here. We can give fluids, things like that. And we are okay. We transport just about anywhere. We'll go to Strong for anybody that's in a trauma state, or anybody that needs to go to the city. We can go there. We will also take them to Warsaw, which is a local hospital, which does a wonderful job stabilizing people in the event we need further ALS and some is not available or some's too far out. So we will take them to Warsaw anytime they need to. And so this is what we do. This is our job, and we try to help people.
Okay.
I'm CJ.
And I'm Laura. We work here at Perry, Town of Perry Ambulance, and I am just completed my EMT training and am a new employee here.
I've been driving here for about 4 months now. Besides with Gainesville Fire Department volunteering. Came here, I've always been interested in driving and getting into this field, and I just happened to have the chance to start here. As far as being a driver, you're responsible for everything that's in the rig, getting to the scene, to the hospital, back to the hall, going to the scene. You're responsible for everyone's lives here, there, and coming back. As far as when you're on scene, you got to know where everything is, you got to know what everything is, what they need, what they might need. What they're telling you when you're on scene, even though it might be code words sometimes. There's a lot of training involved in actually becoming a driver. It might not seem like a big deal, but it actually is. You know, you can't be scatterbrained when you're responding to a call. You got to think smart. You can't just get lead-footed and, if you want to call it, trigger happy. And we need more of them, not just drivers, but EMTs all around, volunteer or paid. Even if you can't find a paid department or ambulance service around here that's looking for someone, there's not many around here that actually are paid, but there's plenty of volunteer services around here that are needing help. Plenty of volunteer services around here that are needing help. we're finding that we have to go to different villages and different towns all around us because the volunteer services can't find anyone, nor no one can actually get there to cover anything. Go ahead.
And one other thing that drivers do, at least here, is we students get to practice on them. So CJ was my practice buddy.
We are guinea pigs.
They are guinea pigs. So for my practical skills that we would learn in class, I would come to the station afterwards, and Heather would go through that with me again. We'd bring out the different equipment, we would go through patient assessments, and I would practice on CJ. So I definitely appreciated his help with that. Me personally, I decided to get involved in EMT as a young teenager. That was a big goal of mine. And that didn't happen right away like I had hoped. There were several things that just didn't work out. But this last spring, I was able to join a training class in Wyoming County at Silver Springs with Ann Lapp, captain of the Attica ambulance. And it was just really amazing experience. I loved every minute of it. But it was hard, but it's so rewarding. And I did end up here at Perry, a paid service, but most of the EMTs there went into volunteer. And I thought that was pretty amazing. And I would actually love to get into volunteer service myself at some point. But there we had a lot of young people in that class as well. We had 2 that were 17, turning 18, up to 20, 25 or whatnot. And there were older people too. And so at any ages, if you're 18 and up, and you can begin training at 17 if you will turn 18. And we had just a wide variety of ages, and it was an incredible experience learning everything together. So we went through, for EMT training, it can be intense, and our class was about 4 months long. So we went through a big book. We learned about the body and how all the systems work together. We learned about cardiovascular emergencies. We learned about strokes, breathing, and the different ways to help that, and so many different things. And we got to learn practical hands-on skills. We could practice CPR on dummies. We used the bag valve mask. We used multiple different things. And then, like I said, I would come to the Perry ambulance, and Heather was kind of my preceptor mentor with that, and she would just go over it again and just drill me over and over in everything. And another thing I got to do here at Perry was go on ride-alongs. So as a student, we had to gain a certain amount of ride-alongs. So when the call would go off and I would be here waiting, and we'd all jump in and go to the scene, and I got to observe the EMTs that I was with in action. I got to watch the way that they approach the patients, the social work that went into it, how to take command of the scene, how to calm the patient, and how to treat the patient. And so that was just an amazing experience, and I'm very, very blessed to then be hired by Perry, and today's actually my first day.
My name is Heather Hagan. I'm the Director of Operations for Town of Perry Ambulance. I'm also an advanced medic. Just became an advanced medic with Kevin, as he said earlier. And I took over this position in 2018. I was asked by the board to come in, and there's been a lot of things that I've been able to change, and I'd like the community to know about it. The first thing that I want to state is that we do transfer outside of Warsaw. That seems to be a misconception. We will transfer to any hospital in Rochester that you need to be transferred to. We also do transfers to to doctor's offices. If you have a doctor's appointment and you need to have a transfer with stretcher, we will do that for you. The big thing that we do here now, which I feel is a little bit different than before, is that we don't just advocate for the patients themselves, we advocate for the whole community. So we're more than willing to help if there's a standby that needs to be done. We work with Bernie now with the triathlon. We come down every year, and we do that for them. We also do transfers to hospice care if necessary. And if you don't have insurance, don't worry about that. We will work with you 100%. We're a not-for-profit organization. None of us are here to make a profit. The big thing that we do is make sure that you can afford. We really just want to make sure that we maintain our employees and our equipment. So we're really not concerned on trying to make that big buck. So if you can't pay for it, guess what? Someday when you can donate, that's fine too. We think that hospice is extremely important if the person wants to come home or needs to go from Warsaw Hospital to, say, Suzanne's Comfort. We are more than willing to come and take care of that for you. I can tell you that I would not be able to do this position without an excellent board and excellent staff members. From the board members to the drivers, we're a family here, and we really enjoy working for the community.